time this morning with purposeful aging. It's a bright day and already hot this end. I'm sure those of us who are in cold countries, those outside countries like my namesake, must be snoring. Enjoy your snow. This morning, we are privileged to have a lady, a beautiful lady, a senior citizen, grandma, a nurse by profession. She retired some time back after giving service and retired at the rank of a senior principal nursing officer. She worked in many hospitals in Uganda, India, and USA during her service of over 28 years. Margaret, you want to say good morning to everybody?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Nice to be here with you.
Yeah, good morning, Margaret. On her retirement, she chose to spend her time in rural Kyankwanzi. This is about 22 kilometers from Hoima City. Hoima City is one of those oil cities. At this point in life, senior citizens usually like to have a relaxed life, you know, have breakfast at midday, a glass of wine at 6 p.m., relax under shade of that faithful mango tree in the compound, watch grandchildren play dulu. One time, this was called looking after ducks by one official here. Our guest this morning, the grandmother, chose to offer domiciliary service to the community. This great lady is called Margaret Akiki Byabakama Muyinda. Margaret, once again, you're most welcome to share with fellow seniors, caregivers, friends, your experience at Kyankwanzi in rural Uganda. You are welcome to Purposeful Aging. Our sessions are usually very interactive. Members can pose questions and share experience as we go along. To members, we have, you're invited to share with us in the chat room. And at one point, you can raise your hands if you need to speak to the rest of us. We are also going to share with you a form which we shall need you to write down your details, telephone, emails, all those means of communication to you, so that we easily reach you whenever we need to. Margaret, I shall start off by asking you a few questions as we share along, and you think we are free to use English, Luganda, Lunyoro, since we are near the oil city of Hoima. Yes. My first question is, the domiciliary unit deals with ladies in their reproductive years. What led you into working with the elderly, and how was the idea formed? What activities do the group members engage in?
Thank you very much, Christine. As I already have been introduced, I'm Margaret, senior citizen. I have served the government for quite a long time. Christine is making me young. I served for 44 years and worked in many hospitals, including Mulago Hospital. On my retirement, I decided to go outside the city because most of the time, most of my life, I've lived in Kampala. I left the village where I'm born in Hoima when I was 16 years. The rest of all those years, I've spent it in Kampala or in the biggest city. So on my retirement, after receiving my package, I was like, how am I going to spend it? So I had a brother who was in Kyankwanzi. Kyankwanzi not deep in the village. For those, when you talk about Kyankwanzi, they think of deep in the village where there is a political school. But for me, I'm on the main road towards Hoima. So I managed to get a land there, 20 acres, but which was also in the village. About 2 to 3 kilometers away from the main road. I decided to get also a good plot at the main road, where I decided to build, to put a structure, and in that structure, I had to put in a clinic, and that clinic is called God's Timing. God's Timing is a domiciliary. I've been there for about 8 years. So far, I have delivered 302 children, babies, of which now my first baby is 7 years. In the process, after I had spent about 3 years, I had to have organized women. Those who are coming, my clients who are coming to see me for counseling, for other services, I saw them an idea of forming a group. So we formed a group which is a village saving group called Now and Then. We moved on with these ladies. Some of them are my clients, some of them are people around the village. And in this group, they were all most young girls or young women. Young women meaning they are at least in their 40s, 30s, like that. So in the process, we had spent 3 years in the group. And this group is saving, credit and saving. I was like, where are the old people like me? Now we are all young. Where are the old people? Don't we have aging people in this village? They were like, yeah, they are there. They can't afford, they can't manage. Said, let's start visiting them. So we started by visiting these old women. And that's how we started.
Very interesting and very mindful of you to love old people, visit, look them up. That was a good idea. Okay, Margaret, did you get any setbacks when you started those visits? What challenges did you encounter?
Definitely, we encountered a lot of challenges. When we look at our topic this morning was changing mindset and helping senior people to live a good life after about what we are talking about of the age. If we look at people with 92 years and above, in that bracket, those are really grown up. They need help. They need to be looked after. There's an age between 81 and 91. They are also aging. They need also help, but not as bad as the first group. Then there is a group of 73 to 80. They are old at age. I'm also in that bracket, but I can still walk. I can still talk to people. I have friends like Christine. And the other things you can still afford to do by yourself. Age 61, 72, those are still dynamic. So we are looking at people, when we looked, we got this idea, we wanted to look from 50 and above. But getting these people, the first group we talked about, to make them agree on what you want is not as easy.
Yes, yes.
They have their fixed ideas. They have their way of doing things. Where I have put my cup, it's where I want to find it. It is challenging. And for us, because we had a health medical mind, we wanted to change their mind to living healthy, like is your home environment, how does it look like? Do you have a good pit latrine? Do you have a utensil rack outside, which is made maybe in local materials or whatever, but do you have it? How does your kitchen look like? So you tell an old woman there down in the village, you need a pit latrine which is clean, sweep it, do this. It really takes you a lot of time and a lot of time to convince her that this toilet should be swept, should be smoked, should be built well.
That is like Lugezi-gezi. You're taking the Kampala Lugezi-gezi to Kyankwanzi. Yes, I can imagine the mindset is one of the difficult issues at that age.
And maybe there also, what I would like to add on, these people, I look at myself and remember the time when my mother was still alive.
Yes.
Going to toilet, this pit latrine and squatting is a big problem for us. Now imagine a person of 80 years to go and squat on that pit latrine. He finds it a bit difficult, but still, for her, she's used to that. You tell her, I want you to sit, and she will say, how can you do poop seated? I need to squat. I need to be there. So it takes a lot of teaching and sensitizing them to see that you change them to accept what you want them to do.
Well, these are 90, 80 plus, mainly ladies, or?
No, there are some gentlemen as well. There are gentlemen as well. We did a sample of, we took 15 houses and visited their village, their homestead, inspected those facilities we are talking about, and we found out of them, 8 of them did not have what we want. They did not have, first of all, proper dug pit latrine. Yes. It's not well built. Let alone squatting, they don't have a sitting facility. So we had to call them together and talk to them. Besides talking to them about those things, we teach them how to live well, how to to enjoy their old life,
Mm.
and also to avoid some injuries as old people.
Mm.
As we go on aging, our bodies change.
Yes.
And you find that there are a lot of things which can happen to you without your knowledge.
Yes.
Like getting up from bed, like the way we sleep in bed, like, getting the back injury, things of that kind. So we talk to them and give them health tips.
Yes, this pit latrine. How did they? Could they afford someone digging up the latrines, the pits? Or because I can imagine they were used to just open dumping of the waste. And now you come with your lugezi, you want a pit, and I'm old, I'm 80, I don't have anyone to help. Could they afford people? Could you afford people? And after I've used the pit, I'm sure you are telling them to wash their hands, yet water is very far away. How did you overcome these and other challenges?
Right. First of all, we had to look for help. After identifying the problem, we had to look for help in this group of now and then. I have some men who are dynamic and who are willing to help.
Mm-hmm.
We started with 5 people. We dug a pit latrine for them, and we dug a pit latrine for them, and we built it with the bricks, matofali, ne tubateerako kwe batuulako, ak'okutuulako. And at first they were not accepting it very quickly, but later on they did, and they are thanking now that it has eased their life. Before that, they were using hole. They dig a small hole, put their thing,
and then go
and cover it,
fertilizing the whole garden.
Then these people live with the grandchildren, the whatever, and you find now they have sport everywhere. So you go and teaching them how to do it.
And did you attend it one time related to the illnesses? Like,
oh, sure. Now, actually washing hands, COVID era helped us so much. Now, almost everybody there knows that you have to wash your hands after the pit latrine, after using the toilet, before eating, after doing dirty work, whatever. They know a bit of cleanliness, but you've got to get a little deeper in prevention of diseases.
Still interested in hearing about water.
Yes.
Yeah.
Water.
Did you harvest water? Did you get a mafuta mingi to give you some village taps or whatever? Village well?
No. Oh, we have 3 boreholes around us. Of recent, they gave us the 3rd one, but before we had 1. They have to carry it. At first, they used to carry water from a distance, but still from a borehole. There was this Sterling dam. Is it a dam? Ekyuma kye bali bakoze ekireeta amazzi. So it's like they packed water and put it in a reservoir, and it supplied the small town we are living in. So people used to go and collect from that tap and take, but they collect that one for drinking, for doing the work they get from the swamps and whatever. Of recent, the government has also put in a lot of emphasis in having clean water, drinking water. They give us water guard. Is it called the water guard?
Mm.
To purify the water,
Mm.
and the containers on which you should put 10 liter, and the jerry can where you put in your drinking water. So we are coming up these days.
Yes, like saying the 5 people, they are convinced that these practices are good for their health. They are now spreading the message in the village.
Yes, they are.
And before you know, you have like 100 people around your domiciliary service looking for them.
Yes, it is true. We have written a project proposal, and we are trying to look for some funds. If we can be helped, even if you are using the local material, you need to be helped, because these people who dig the pit latrine, they ask you money. You can't dig the pit latrine and leave it like that. You've got to build it. And if you build it with this sitting facility, you've got to buy them from, is it Tampeco? This plastic.
Yes, it's Crest Tank.
Crest Tank. So we need some help to roll out to other people. But in this village where we started, we just started it as a role model. So with a plan to roll for the whole parish, so that we can teach. Because our community there, I don't want to use the word backward, but we are still far coming to many of these things we are talking about. And some people look at it as she's put it, Rugezi. There are some tribes in Uganda who are still backward really. They still believe they have their belief by tribal culture that you cannot put your feces in the pit latrine and then cover it and then close the door. No, they want to put it there, leave it there, whatever. And the children, they teach them like that. So we still have a lot of things, a lot to do on the people's mindset.
This is very interesting, because you've covered my next question, was really just pointing out those things which you think need to be done in our communities. Margaret, over 90% of the population is in the rural area. These people you are saying who know and who do their toilet habits within the house are just a small percentage. So really the work is in the rural area. And as you put it, mindset is a very, very, very big obstacle. We need to have means and ways of working on it so that we get our people to age gracefully, healthy, and all that. Did you ever think of using these 60-year-old carpenters and other artisans in the village to look at they could do a toilet seat made of wood, rather than looking at a Crest Tank, because that means you are buying it and we don't have the money. These young carpenters who are still able, so that the spread is easy and cheaper.
Yes, those people are there, but all those are also commercial. They also need money. They can't do it for free of charge. They have to buy the wood, they have to buy the nails, they have to calculate their time and so forth. So they also need money. We need the money. But what we did first, which was maybe sensible enough not to go to Crest Tank, is we used bricks. You can still build the seat, build it with the bricks, and cement it so well for somebody to sit on. and it won't be very expensive. But
You
we-
cement the inner side, the
you,
inside.
yes, you do. You build the whole thing permanent, and then you put a seat,
Mm.
make it round, and raise it a bit for somebody to sit on, like a sitting facility.
Mm. I was looking at ladies' urine eating into the block or something like that.
You build it, you plast it right from down.
Okay.
Mm.
Mhm. Okay. So far we have like 17 participants, and I just want you to like give me those big issues, that lessons you have learned from this activity, and what you think we need to do, or the government needs to do. Just like enumerate them, you can elaborate a few. It's really just recapping what you've said, but in such a way that these 7 participants can imagine and take away from this 1 hour talk to their villages, to their homes at present. Because as you've said, the seniors, the aged people are mainly in the village, and we can't pretend that we will all just gracefully age while we are in Kampala. We need to go back home. It's more relaxing. You can point out those things which you really think helped you to break through in their minds. The Baganda say that kacha mama mera. When you try to straighten up or correct an old person, it is next to impossible. What tricks should we carry away?
Now, as I told you, I lived in Kampala for a long time.
Yes.
Changing somebody's mind to be at the same par with you, it's not very easy. Now, first of all, you first have to level yourself to that level, to the village. You also look like some people who are living there. You understand their problem, and you talk to them nicely. For me, maybe what helped me is because I'm a medical personnel, and I can talk. I can talk with you. I can make counseling. I can discuss, chat with you, be at the same level, and you find that you establish rapport with those people, so they come to believe in you. What I have learned is when you grow old,
Yes.
at the age of 70 and above, maybe even 60, your children grow and leave you. I think even in the company it's the same thing.
Yes.
And you find yourself living in the house alone. You look for somebody to send, you don't have. Your children are in Kampala, they don't want to give you their children, your grands to come to the village. And for us in the village, you suffer it so much because there is nobody who will help you. But at the same time, you find that there are those girls and boys who are not considerable, considering that you are aging. They bring the children for you to look at, to look after, to look after. Never kusulira wabana. From different women, they just dump them and they don't give you help. Right? They don't give you help. They don't, you have to go to the garden and dig. You have to look for water. You have to do this and that. And these are the small children. And yet these people have really contributed a lot to the development of this country. As much as we are aging, but we are still useful.
Mm.
We need to be cared for.
Mm.
So I was looking at that level that these people should have somebody to take care of.
Mm.
The government has done something because we are one of the privileged district who receive money for elders.
Okay.
25,000 per month.
Yes.
And you see, when these men get the men, when they get it, they just
Go and
straight
drink.
go and drink. And women, you remain suffering with it. So when a woman gets it, if they are alone without husbands, you find them wajaka school fees, kamuzukulu, waliaya kanyama, things of that kind. So I've learned that these workers, they need to be cared for. They need to have somebody to talk to. They need to have some people to help. Like me, I always call them and check their blood pressure. They don't know that you need to check your blood pressure, blood sugar, you check your weight, things of that kind. You talk to them on the health issues, as we talked about, as I told you, preventing illnesses and not damage, injuries. Injuries. We get a lot of injuries. We fall a lot. We find that at 80, we lose balance. But you talk to them and put them in the know, and he keeps on knowing that, oh, because of my age. No, Kulia, you have to feed well. You have to feed well, not eating meat, not eating no. Ofumbe ebijanjalo byo, n'ofumbako amatoke go, n'ofumbirako akawogo oba kalumonde, n'olya emmere eri balanced. Ne tulirako ka greens, kuba tukeetaaga. Okunywa amazzi. From 60 years, omubiri gwaffe gutandika okwadijustinga.
You get completely in Luganda.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
At 60 years, our body starts it adjusts by itself. Normal process of aging. You get dehydrated, you get dry. So you find yourself, you are falling without knowing what is making you fall, because you are dehydrated. So you need to teach them how to counsel them or to inform them that you need to take some water every now and then so that we keep our body hydrated.
Thank you very much, Margaret. I want to ask you a silly question. When this 25,000 is being given, is it a question of getting the 25 and walking away, or do they have a talk or sort of guiding them like what you just said? It's just an ATM.
No,
they pick the money and go home.
You pick the money and go home.
Okay.
They are called, they put it on, we have our village radios.
Village speakers. Yes.
Today, because at first I also found the system was already there. They passed through rating from 60 and above. But of recently changed it from 80. But those who are already there continue.
Thank you.
Because in my village, the 80s are not very many.
I don't think there are very many villages.
They go when they are called. If they have missed about 2-3 months, they get their areas. And you find them getting about 150. Get so excited. So you go there, you sign, but it is very tedious. They spend a whole day there because there are many from different villages, parishes, and so on. There are many, they spend a whole day. So they come back in the evening. But for those who come early, they pass the shop, they buy what they want, they go, you find life has changed at that
For
particular
that
time, for that day.
Yes.
Mm.
And I can imagine the young ones at 25 are waylaying this old lady of 70 to take away the 25.
Even those who have sons whom they stay with, because there are those who cannot write, who cannot read, they go with their children. Some of them, they snatch it from them. They use it for their own things, for drinking.
Thank you, Margaret. You painted a very, very good picture of the village and aging purposefully in the village. I think there's a big, big gap of knowledge, of guidance, of these are friends, our grandparents, fellow parents in the village. As we have seen, there's some money going to them, but with no guidance at all. Nutrition, a big problem. Apart from changing their thinking, they don't have what to eat. They don't know what to eat. You talked about dehydration is a very, very big problem, because I think at, I don't know, about 60, you can't even feel thirsty. And yet you are outside the whole day in the blazing sun. Your thirsty centers just don't work as well as when you are 20. Big problems. You want to wrap up with this group of caregivers we have, and the aging purposefully group. Would like to maybe get your contact or get how they could work with you, or some, just a parting shot before we go into questions and comments.
Okay. What I would like to say is really aging in the village, aging in the town, it doesn't make a lot of difference. We are all aging at the same time. I mean, we are all aging in the same way, because, but what we have to do is to continue sensitizing our people. As we said, there is a knowledge gap. Like in the village, we depend on digging.
Yes.
And we are saying at 60 years, we should not bend so much, because when you bend so much, you find you are dizzy, but for us, we keep digging. And I have not seen anybody falling down. They will ask you, no, you're telling us not to bend. How shall we dig? But you say, no, you put your hole, you put a tall, a long handle, yes. And then you don't have to bend so much. So sensitizing, whether in town or in village, we need to get this sensitization so that we, even in town, people do bending and they don't know what will result. Although it doesn't happen so much, but it is not advisable to bend so much after 60 years. Then there are some drugs which we need to give these old people. Amagulu ganduma, omgongo, whatever, something is moving from here to there, in the chest, pain all the time. So we have what we call placebos for old people, which we should keep on, like vitamin B complex, calcium lactate, and those people there, they don't know. You give them at least to help them to take off all those pains around. The way the village old woman suffers the pain is not the same as the way I suffer it, because I know what to do with it. They keep on Panadol, and Panadol has its own problems. But we have some drugs. You tell them, you take those drugs and you'll be okay. And talking to them, giving them comfort, telling them life is not actually it's good to grow old. If you don't grow old, you die young.
Yes.
So we just have to encourage them. Some of them find it very taxing, very kiberaliikiriza naye nga you tell them aging is good. We need to see more ahead of us. I would have loved to live up to 90 years and see what it looks like. But if you die early, you don't see those things. I think I have enjoyed my time of living with these old people and seeing their different thinking and their way of doing things. As I have told you, Mount culture, tribes and other Zina cultures is different. You learn a lot from different cultures and you find that you can cope up with them.
Margaret, you ended at a good note. You also mentioned when the gentlemen get their 25K off to drink. Have you, what do the aged do to really boost their morale, enjoy, for example, the ladies who are not going to go to drink? I guess the Mara group, the lady will be busy preparing the Mara and the men are drinking. Those ladies who don't go to the Maras to do how do they boost their morale, happiness, enjoyment? Do they engage in anything? Have you thought of putting that in the activities you do?
Some of the women also go to drink as old as I am.
Along with the men.
Along with the men. But most of the old women stay home with their people, stay home. The time we go to bed, or they go to bed 6:30.
6 p.m.
6 p.m.
No electricity, no paraffin lights, so they have to sleep.
They have to sleep, but between 5:36, they are busy washing, they are bathing, preparing food or whatever. But food, most of them eat one meal. Once they have eaten their lunch at 4-5 p.m., that is lunch.
Okay.
And they go to sleep. So I don't think they find a lot of things to do. But some of them, I call them, they come and we collect at God's timing and we talk, but this is once in a while. I've not emphasized on it so much because I don't have a lot of activities.
Okay, thank you very much. I would like to now to share with you participants. Some have put comments in the chat. Others might want to say it out loud. We have the next 20-30 minutes to share or to add on to what Margaret has said. There is a comment in the chat saying, talking about young people in Kampala, what advice would you give them to be more useful, helpful to their parents or the elderly in the village, other than just sending money? Actually, this is a very, very common thing to do.
Say it again.
They tend, like a family, you tend to send or to get one person in the family to carry soap, salt, whatever to the village. And the rest of you 7 children, you stay in Kampala enjoying yourselves. You make this career girl among you, your brothers and sisters, to go to the village, carry the stuff you have bought, money, soap, whatever. Is that all we should do as children who have parents in the village or whatever?
Now that is very tricky because, as I said before, the children go, start working and stay there. Spend almost the whole year without coming to see this old woman. And you find that this old woman even is lacking that soap and the salt and whatever, and yet he has a working child. So this is at a different level. I cannot say I can do anything with them because collecting them is not easy.
No.
Calling them back is not easy. I had one scenario where a lady had children and they all had gone to town. And the town not in Kampala, the nearest Hoima. And he stayed there with the children. He has built a big house there. He's enjoying with the family. And the mother is suffering here. I was forced to call. The mother was sick. I said, you give me the number. Those people are also clever. They have some books where they write their numbers. So I talked to the man, said, your mom is sick and he's lacking this and this and this. Can you come down? And he had spent almost 2 years without coming.
Just 22 kilometers away.
Away. So when this man came, instead of appreciating, he started quarreling with us.
Okay.
Where did you get my phone? Who told you to call me? Well, I said, oh, but the good thing I had already informed the LOC chairman. And when he came, started talking to me like that, I said, it's okay, don't you worry. I called the chairman. They had to discipline him. They disciplined him. Now he comes about maybe every 6 months. Or we need to talk to them. What else can we do apart from that? So it's difficult with the children.
The children need to also have a change of mindset. The parents or whoever is in the village, they don't need only the soap and salt. They need to see you and hug you. They need a chat with you, and more importantly, the health checks. You never know. You could just look at her and see that, oh, she's now turning this color, she's darkening, she's this, and something she wouldn't have known herself. And the fact that she has to think of that money to go to town, money to pay at the clinic. Once she notices there is a change in her body or whatever, she'll just keep quiet and use the local grass and whatever.
Yes, they use herbal so much. Herbal so much.
So we need to visit, we need to think more of making them, happy.
They need company.
Teaching them what to eat. It's interesting. You might think that, she's my mom. She brought me up. How come that I now tell her to eat this? But I think as the body ages, there are things you need to supplement at that point, which certainly were in plenty at 25 when she was giving birth to you. So
you find even that you have taken rice. There is muogo, there is rumonde. She cooks those 3 types of food: rice, cassava, and rumonde. Now you say, what are you eating from here? It is only like carbohydrate.
Yes.
She doesn't know the difference. So there is a lot to be done.
At one point, I got a lady from Chagwe. She told me that my muwala mfa enjala. Dying of hunger because she was diabetic, and the doctors had told her, don't eat cassava, don't eat lumonde, don't eat matoko, everything. So she asked me, but what can I eat? They refused me to eat all the food which is available. What can I eat? So even the health workers, as we look after the old or anybody in the village or even in Kampala, we need to be very, very careful what we tell them. Don't do this. The don'ts must be well thought out. You don't look at me as someone seated in the chair. Look at where I come from, the environment, the whatever, income, before you prescribe.
Sure.
Anybody who wants to give a comment or a question, this is our time to ask or share with Margaret. Am I seeing any hands? Or it's been so well done that we don't have any questions?
There's a comment, there's some in the chat from Jennifer Bisikwa.
Do you want to read them? I don't see.
Okay. So Jennifer says that is what some of my relatives are doing to my elderly mother. They brought her their children and some their grandchildren. She is also taking care of the third generation and it is taking a toll on her. She doesn't know how to say no, and yet she is frail due to poor health. How do I handle those selfish relatives since they don't seem to care? That's one. Maybe you could handle that, then we go to the next.
Yes, the question is that this young lady or gentleman in Kampala took the grandchildren back to the village to a lady, she's to his mom or her mom, and she's frail, but she's not actually, it's like he dropped the children in the village to someone who is unwell. How do you encourage them to even save out? No, this is a different question. What can be done? What can we do to this
the grandwoman, the old lady,
and the relative,
the parent of these children? Really, you've given out one example where you had to ring and.
But you know, some of these things you do it with caution, because that is also a personal matter, private. You don't have to enter in somebody's life so much. But first of all, you have to find out, why did this gentleman have to bring these children to the mother who is not well? Is he married? Does he have a stable wife to look after these children? Can't he take care of these children himself? Or if he has brought them in the village to the old woman, can she give somebody to assist, like a helper? Like a helper in the to the grandmother, to the mother? Because this mother, if she's not well, then how does he expect her to look after these children? And also it depends on the age of the children. If they are school going, they will go to school, leave her alone, come back late hour.
So they don't help her at all.
They don't help her at all. She has to suffer, look for food to cook, and when they come back, they have to eat something. So it is a bit tricky. So that one you have to study it and find out, first of all, why did you have to take those children in the village?
Margaret, I want to be a bit hard. What on earth, what reason can you give me to convince me that I have born children and I have to take them to my grandmother who is sick, to their grandmother? What are you doing? And you dump those children there and you make more children. Dump.
And moreover, those children might, even if they are 3 or 4, they might not be from one woman. You are delivering that one. Now you decide to collect them and take them to your mother. What do you expect that mother to do for you?
I have
I've already done my part. I brought you in the world and I looked after you. You have grown up. Look after your children as well.
I have one incident where many brothers were doing that. There were like 8 children. So these boys were getting children and dumping to their father in the village. Now, one sister just go to the village, found about 8 children, and she said, everybody
Come on.
take your child from here. Left only one grandchild alone.
Look after them.
And
Mother.
it made such a big difference. Her reasoning was that this woman, their mother, is there helping the father, and the father helping the mother. The mother's time and energy should not be spent on your children. Take your children away. It's a very tricky situation because the children also brighten up the old people, yes. But I think
they don't have to be a burden.
They shouldn't be a burden. Okay.
Before I read any other comments, there's Mrs. Mungati who would like to make a comment. You could invite her. She says she's failed to raise her hand, but you could invite her to make a comment.
She unmutes and makes a comment. Mrs. Mungati, can you unmute and speak to us?
Okay, maybe she's having trouble unmuting. There's a hand from Carol Kelly. As we wait for Mrs. Mungati.
Hello.
Carol,
Yeah. Thank you very much. It's not really Carol, it's Mrs. Harriet Mwesiga. I'm using Carol's phone, but thank you. I want to thank you because of I do go to the village, many old people, relatives. Thank you about the hole, because these old women dig with these short holes and they dig for so long. So that one, at least I can help them put a long stick so that they don't have to bend so much. Then secondly, what about how can I help to smoke the latrines? Because in some of them there are cockroaches. The smoking is a bit hard for me to help out, even in the village in our own pit latrines. That's my question.
thank you.
Thank you.
Kelly. I'm afraid the second question was not very clear. I don't know if are you having difficulties or you don't know how to smoke, what you do to smoke the latrine?
I don't know how to smoke.
Okay. Margaret, you want to take the hole? I think you correctly advised to use a long handle. Yes.
Thank you, Carol.
Okay. Carol, yeah.
In the village, we have the banana plantation. It's the main source we use. You cut off the dry banana leaf, dry banana leaf, tie it on a long stick. It depends on how long your pit latrine is, but we advise that 40 feet below. You put on that dry banana leaf on a long stick and put across on the pit after putting on the fire, so that it will smoke very slowly. Actually, you cover it. You put the cover on that top stick, and the long one will be going down there. Smoke will stay within. By the time you remove it, it is All, is it sterilized or purified or whatever?
Actually, I grew up doing this at home. You get like 4 or 5 dry banana leaves. You make a sort of you bend them and
You
make
roll it.
A bundle.
you make a bundle. Thank you so much. And
Yeah.
then that bundle you put on a chai is what?
A rope or a rope. We call it a
Banana leaf.
Banana leaf
Fiber.
into a bundle, and then the fiber, banana fiber, which you use to make migwa and all that, or you can use sisal if you have it. I don't think you would do, but particularly you use the
local
the-
material which
the-
should be destroyed completely inside there.
yeah, you use the still green banana fiber to wrap the bundle, and in the middle of the bundle you can put either dry matoke peelings or any peelings, lumonde or whatever, and you put the charcoal, burning charcoal, into the middle of the bundle you made, and then you put this long banana fiber rope to dangle down into the toilet. Of course, it doesn't fall in because you put a stick to hold it across the pit, the hole into the pit, and cover. Your latrine must have a cover so that the smoke is kept in the pit for some time, like 30 minutes. I think the flies and whatever other creatures don't like the smoke, they die off. And then when it's time for you to use the latrine, you just get that nice banana leaf scent instead of the purifying waste.
And it will take off the smell of that.
If you are in Bale, you have to get banana leaves from the market, or you get a ndagala and wait for it to dry off. Or I guess you can use any other grass available to you.
Grass and maybe pepper. Pepper burns very fast.
That would be dangerous. You may end up burning the whole little house.
It burns very fast.
Thank you very much, Masao. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Mrs. Mungati has unmuted.
Yes. Can we have Mrs. Mungati, please? Hello. Mrs. Mungati, you are free to talk to us. In the meantime, you can think of, is there a law that protects the elderly from exploitative family members? I don't think so.
I don't think so. I'm not aware of that.
These are things we need to advocate for. Mrs. Mungati, please, you should be able to talk now. You're unmuted, so we'll be able to hear you. Do you encourage the people who receive 25 to save some of that money? By the time it comes, it is already spent.
It's already spent.
But they do save, they can identify a cock and a goat, and they keep saying, oh, this one is going to be sold at the time of school fees, the time of Christmas. So they save in real, real
items.
Yeah, living items, goats and whatever. I think money, hard cash is a bit delicate. You are prone to these drunkards coming in, rape you and take your 1,000. It's not easy. And they don't have these funds to use. Village banks are usually in live animals. Mrs. Mungati has failed to talk. Anybody else who has a comment?
There's a comment from Edith Monda saying, Margaret, do you encourage our seniors on the regular body exercises? Do you have many with wooden toilet seats? Because I would find it difficult to maintain their hygiene. Better to have cemented ones because they're easier to clean. Do you encourage them to even save out of the monthly 25? I think you've answered that. So maybe you talk about the exercises and the type of seats, wooden versus cemented.
Edith wants to know that do you encourage the people you work with or the villagers to exercise? And she says that wooden toilet seats to her are difficult to keep clean. So she thinks encouraging the ones with block and cement are easier to handle. Just your comments on that.
You are right. Actually, we have not used the wooden yet, but the cement we have only 4 so far we have gone. Exercise. These people are always in the garden. You tell them to do these usual exercises we want them to do. They don't make any sense to them. But we tell them that we need exercises. We walk. One day we walked. It was a day for I think we were celebrating or remembering the HIV/AIDS Day. And last January, although we do it in December, but it was January, and I encouraged the 4 of them to walk. One of 70, 75, another one is 78. And we walked. You walk slowly, but we didn't finish the distance. But the exercise I always encourage them is walking. And actually it's what they always encourage, because these up and downs, they are here in town, not in the village.
I think most of their time they are either digging, which is a good exercise, and walking. Like when you are going for the 25K, you have to walk. When you are going to the display, everywhere, because their houses are not near, they are far apart. If they don't walk, then they will be shouting across the valleys, and that is exercising their lungs. So they do get exercise, but regular targeted exercise has not been encouraged so much. The wooden seat, Edith, I again grew up using a wooden seat, and what I think was done, they make a very big square box with of course the oval open shape in the middle, and for redirecting urine, a bit of a bati, iron sheet is bent so that iron sheet goes into the mouth of the pit. But the person making the pit has to make deliberately large pit mouth to contain that kabati and then the waste.
And to direct it to sit on properly, and
cleaning it is also a deliberate. You have to get it out of the room, wash it up, scrub it up, and put it back after drying. We have Mrs. Mungati's hand again. Are you able to talk now?
Yes, yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes, we
Yes.
can.
I had to change to a phone. I'm learning a new laptop, but it has bullied me. I'm glad to be here now if I can be heard.
It happens.
Madam Biabakama, I can call you an angel to me. Thank you for extending your good services to the people in villages where you come from, your retirement age, because you did a good job in Mlago. Remember the last time I met you in ICU without any hope, but you kept us going. And by the grace of God, we got out alive. And I know those many 300 and whatever babies, they'll grow up to be very good babies. And some of them will be nurses, just like you are. Thank you, the team led by Mrs. Dr. Kadama Christine, who bring these topics to us, different ones. The job you are doing is something when I was working with the women's group, YWCA, I did. And it is something which is so very interesting because I didn't grow up in the village. I grew up in town, and as it was said, but you know, when you get to the women in the village, one has to humble. You have to humble yourself because we don't have all the knowledge. They are also knowledgeable, but we have to increase something in them, for them to also be sure of themselves, to know that in front of us, who may look educated, that they know they can also teach us. And it embraces the whole household. For us, we used to call it home improvement, which means the garden as well. You can hear me?
Yes, we can now.
Yes, which means the garden as well. This kitchen garden is a must, where even if it is raining, even if it is dark, the vegetables must be fetched from that near garden. So I'm really grateful these are still ongoing, because even for us who are still elderly and still walking, if you need a helping hand, not for an uneducated person, but for those ladies to see somebody from town who may look like them in ways of doing the work or working together, if there's a need for that, please, I'm available once in a while. We are getting slower, but we need to encourage each other, because this is something which is very important. Right now, we are weak in the home, and the people we get usually are people who are educated in the villages and they are brought to town. And you can see where they are really lacking. They have had nursing education, but they are lacking so much because they didn't have the helping hand in the home, which needed them to even if they are boys, to also hold that smoking in the toilet or sweeping in the toilet or putting a kitchen up or whatever it is. So to make it wider, these days people talk of money for everything, money for this, money for that. But it should be a self-help and people to come together. Even that 20,000 people get once a month. I'm also qualifying soon. This year, I'll be getting it because my husband is on the list. And I see even professors there, and I see all these specialists are in that line of 20,000. It is a good thing, especially when it has piled and you haven't been around for 7 months and you go to get out your money. Very nice. It helps with the nurse. It helps with the help, with the people who are helping in the home. So it is the same here in town. It is the same there, but I want to come and help when you need me, because I know that's where life starts from. The people who are educated don't have that education. Everything is there, running water, toilet flushing and whatever. Kitchen, everything is gas. And that smoke in the kitchen to eliminate the smoke and build here and there. Please call on us and keep it up. Thank you. I'm here. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. God bless
Thank
you.
you so much, Mrs. Mugati. I think the challenge goes, I'll hand it to Philip and Tina, namesake, to like organize those village visits. Actually, visiting has been emphasized in all the talks we've had. And I must confess that we've not had so much. I think only one participant gave us a report having visited a couple in Kavoa. Actually, that very couple, the wife is currently hospitalized in Mengo. I managed to see her on Wednesday this week. Of course, she came down with difficulty in breathing, but you are very right. We need to take our services to the people. The people are in the village, and we should not only send money as we have been told. There is a question about a shower that is hard for people to scrub their backs. I want to throw these challenges to all the engineers we have in this world. They make us build the houses with steps in Kampala. They make us use these bathtubs instead of walk-in bathrooms. I think the mindset of that department of, I think, engineers of sorts, mechanical architects and all that, they need to rethink a lot. It's all to encourage us, because I think things have changed a lot in many places, but some of us are still behind. And for making a shower in the village setup is a big challenge. I think the best I've had is to get these plastic chairs, and the old person or the sick person sits on the chair, and then a stool will get a basin raised on the stool, but that still does not cater for the back. You might have to get a changwe with a sisal sort of strings to pull across if you are bathing yourself. Otherwise, the back is not going to be bathed. Showers will be a big luxury. A lot of water will be wasted in the shower. Please add us to the Jennifer. I want to be added to for future. How do you join the WhatsApp? Kindly send us your email. Jennifer talked about the 25,000 as a mockery. I have had that feeling for a long, long time. I've always thought of it as an insult. It even pains me so much for someone to sit in those huge buildings, tall buildings, and say that they are going to send 25,000 to someone in the village. It's painful, but as you have put it, it does make a little difference. But I think it's an insult, all in all.
But also, you have to put into consideration, it's not only one district or two, but all over the country. Yes, all over the country. And there are so many senior citizens around. So how much would you offer? How much money would be enough for
that much money, which is they budget for that money? The budgets are done. We are now getting into realms which are not right.
If it was coming regularly, it would be okay. It is okay. It's just a token. Say thank you for growing old.
And someone who has brought that money takes a night takes about 200,000 per night,
Yes.
and they stay seven nights when they have actually stayed one night. It's a lot of nonsense. I think we leave this. Can we add? Yes,
Some mockery, but it's okay.
some
Better
more.
than nothing.
Okay.
I will finish.
Do we have any comments? Any more comments or?
Yes, there was a comment earlier about whether the young people in the community, like the Chankwanzi area, whether they consider the elderly useful and if they engage them in any activities when they are organizing things.
Do you want to say that again, please?
Whether the question is whether young people consider the elderly useful, the young people in the community, for example, Chankwanzi, do the young people there think that the elderly are useful to them, and do they engage them in activities, for example, organizing talks or events in the community? Do they invite the elderly to be part of these, or are they just shunned and left out of everything?
Let's take it. So just give me a minute. Okay. Yeah. Okay. She's going to give you the feedback.
Actually, thank you for that question. It was one of the reasons why we wanted to engage ourselves in visiting these old women, talking to them, because the teenagers or the young people, boys and girls, they don't care about the old ones. They don't mind about them. They even shout at them. They don't help. He may be a teenager coming within from that home, but he lives without doing any work to this old woman, without helping. And you find that she comes home very late. This old woman wakes up to open for him or her. They are not very good, very good teenagers to help old women. They don't.
And in a few years' time, they will be the old
They will
women.
be the old one. They will be the judges.
Thank you so much, Margaret. I've not heard from gentlemen, but I see Mr. Pichua Patrick. If it's okay, would you like to give a vote of thanks to Margaret?
I'm sorry, moderator, there's a comment by Bernard Busula. Would you like me to read it out just before we get the
Please.
vote of thanks? Okay.
Please.
So he says he took time off last year after the Easter weekend and spent a few hours with some elderly folks that live in Mukono district and are entitled to the social assistance grant by the elderly that amounts to 25,000. Their age range was 80 to 97 years, but he realized that the elderly folks struggle to interact with themselves out there. The young community members are clueless about how to handle the elderly people, and the government policy is not helping matters. How does Ugandan society deal with this existential and moral challenge?
Okay, I think there's also a new one from Hasifa. Thank you very much for this forum and today's example of purposeful living have been awakened and will endeavor to be purposeful going forward.
Thank you.
What? Look at it. Yeah. Hello, Christine. This is Mariam Bunya. I'm so glad to see that you are with the Margaret Babakama. Happy New Year. Nice to get you on the line. And it's a good program for the elderly, but good enough even the government on the village committees. There's a lady attached to the elderly. So I think much emphasis should be put on her to move around and see how they can, they can make a better life for the elderly people. They get the motivation, they get some ideas on how they have to cope up with the aging. Even the supplementation of these supplements, like calcium, as Margaret said, we can advocate to the health committees to get them and give them to them. Thank you so much for such a program, and we look forward for continuing to that same program and keep on talking to our age mates as we are all in the same bracket of the elderly. Thank you so much, Margaret and Christine. Happy New Year. This is Mariam Bunya.
Thank you so much. I think Margaret has a comment.
Thank you very much, Maria. I'm happy to hear your voice and you are still growing strong. Glory to God. We are all there, and one day we might also need help and we are not getting it. So we are trying to keep ourselves busy so that we can help those who did not have opportunity to go to school or to move. And these people are the people who have never moved an inch from that village. They are always rotating there. So they need really a lot of help, sensitization, creating awareness, although they think, how long am I left with? Yes, how long are you left with? God knows. We live as if we are going tomorrow. So we are there to keep them, to give them more hope and courage to live positive.
Okay, it's better I'll keep the candle burning. And we look forward for more of such discussions, and maybe in future we can get a better report from the village committees where there's a representation for the old. Thank you so much, and let's keep in touch. It's nice to get to hear from you all. Yes, Christine, anything? Yes.
Is Mr. Pichiwa ready? Can you unmute?
This is done.
Sorry. Hello. Is it okay, or I want to ask Jane to come in and wrap up for us?
I think so.
Margaret is saying you've been unfair. You have not seen her face. So I want to put on the camera and you see her.
Yeah, we are all looking good. I was when I saw you on the program light up. You look good and keep it up.
Oh, this is Margaret, Christina and Margaret. Jane, Dr. Jane, do you want to wrap up for us? I think Mr. Pichu has had a technical glitch.
We didn't see your photo. We didn't see your video. It didn't come on.
Video is not on.
No.
But the picture was seen on the whatever on the
Flyer.
Whoever wants Margaret's picture. Out. You are looking good, all of you. And we thank God for that.
My video cannot start. It's going to get my internet disrupted. Okay. Looks like Jane is also unable to talk to us. Dr. Philippa, please wrap up and let us know if there is any announcements to make.
Okay, thank you very much for such a wonderful and engaging session. Both our moderator, Dr. Kadama, and Sister Byabakama. It was really nice hearing from you, sharing your experiences, and seeing how you've done so much using so little to give back to the elderly in your community. It's very encouraging to the rest of us. And I have seen many comments in the chat of people saying you've awakened their passion of taking care of the elderly. And it has brought up many questions and challenges that we need to address. For example, that challenge that Pusula put up of the elderly don't know how to interact with each other. The young people don't know what to do with the elderly. And the government is not helping. So it's really up to us to find whatever small thing we can do wherever we are to make a difference for the elderly, because that's where we are all going. And it's a good thing to grow old. If you don't grow old, you'll die young. So yeah. I'm sure we will all prefer to grow old. So thank you very much for that discussion. Then from Purposeful Aging, again, we welcome you to this year. We have a very exciting program lined up for us this year. This is the first of the talks. We intend to have a talk every last Saturday of the month. The talks will be mostly virtual here on Zoom. And we also hope to have 2 of them done physically. We shall be informing you about the locations where we'll have these physical discussions. The physical discussions really are meant to bring people together, but also there are some people who don't really move from home, but would like to see some elderly people who are from their times and share good times, as well as learn from each other and feel more useful in the community. So that's why we endeavor to put some physical activity in the program. So we look forward to seeing you next month. What will the date be next month? The last Saturday of February. We will be talking about preparing. We'll be hearing about retirement and preparing for retirement from people who have been there. They'll be sharing their experiences, and we invite you all to join so that we can have a lively discussion as we have done today. Thank you very much once again. Back to you, moderator.
Thank you very much, Dr. Philippa. I want to encourage you to keep coming every end of month, last Saturday of every month, and call a friend, come along, sit along with the helper, if you have one, so that we actually do share direct with the aged person and the helper, if there is any. Thank you so much. We hope to share more at end of Feb, as Dr. Philippa has said. Thank you. Have a good weekend.